Hi, we're in the next part. I really want to be done with this because there might be a podcast AD. This is South Africa, whatever. I was talking about in the previous parts the destructive power of a Jezebel, right? I want to read Proverbs 7. The power of a wicked woman negatively. But also the fact that God gave Adam the charge to run the show. God gave men headship over women. They ought to take responsibility for letting the Jezebel run loose, run rampant. The poisonous gas that they are in the sky is because of them. They have allowed themselves to be weak and so be run by wicked women. I personally am desirous of death, to a point where one might even call me suicidal, except I'd never kill myself because I fear God too much. But I no longer want to live. I don't want to be here. I've been petitioning God for heart attacks, strokes, anything to take me out. I want to go home because my life has been made a living nightmare by banana peel men who have allowed themselves to be run by Jezebel women who are besotted with witchcraft and running a situation into the ground using weak men. In my family, I have an uncle that was given the baton by my grandmother when she passed away to run the show and to take care of the affairs of the family. He was the only son, and so by interstate succession laws under customary law, he automatically got headship over the family in a very spiritual sense and also in a physical sense. So, an issue. If there is a miscreant, a derelict on the ground in the family, a little bit of a junkie, a kid that just won't get their act together, an intervention is staged through him. He is the dude that we go to him. He is the runner, the head of this family, and if he passed away, God forbid, the next in line is some spiritual junkie. It's like the men have been made worthless, do you understand? It is some spiritual junkie in the sense that he's a little sangoma operating. It's a cousin of mine that is the next in line for he's the next boy that is standing. Like high and low. So intestate succession under customary law has it such that he automatically will inherit my grandmother's house. Because Aguna Tigin that can take Aguna another male in my grandmother's line, in my grandmother's children. So it's gonna go to the firstborn son that belongs to, who is this? One of my aunts and my that uncle I have the sons. So the estate or the family leadership would then transfer over to one of his sister's sons. And there's only one such boy. It is some cousin of mine, oiling high on the supply of the occult. He is a prolific Satanist. Men have just been rendered worthless like Ekai. My uncle is not into witchcraft. Halloi. Mara, molotsana wa mosadi, le molotsana wa bana. His daughters and his wife are Jezebels. In the worst way, especially wife and oldest daughter. The youngest daughter and Jefela just followed by example, unfortunately for her. So the family that is essentially responsible for interventions in this family, that has been given the baton by my late grandmother, is unreliable. Le Uncle Lena was the first person because I understood the laws. Mengi shonipa ihiraki yasekhaya ne patriarchy that has been established. Ngaya kuye. He was the only person that made sense. It didn't make sense for me to go to auntie as a Middlelands or was a Lamin or what. No, as I go antinki leko malumeng. Jekaha bang feeling na permission king hono ha tlokafal. Ora ha gona le bothata mo gae. Ke re ka go this uncle and everybody goes to him. He is supposed to be a wise man. He was supposed to be anointed with oil. He was supposed to give his life to Christ that he might indeed carry the baton successfully of my grandmother who was godly. But instead uthanda utshwala, akathanda uJesu, so akena wisdom, and now ngamhlanje he is being pulled by his loins, kitty cherry, that is Jezebel in the family, and they are running the show rampant balotsana. They are walking up and down modi rofong. Baloyana la emgaqweni, it's cantankerous, chaotic. Lo muntu, this uncle of mine, yazini. I pray the Lord God Almighty rescue his soul. Apoloswe. Otherwise, judgment for the great white. Yo. He will have to account for how he led his daughters astray, the whole family. If that uncle had just stood on what is right, mebazo khuzeka lezinja. Labafazi lababolile mebazo khuzeka. Nebatlo khalemelega. Basadi ba kaofela that ended up running amok. The blumas bona like soiling everybody's household. Labafazi basekhaya bonke mebazothuliswa. Ke a godly, pious man. He was supposed to give his life to Christ that he might have put order in abafazi abaphuma endleleni. Instead, utlogetse dipenti tsa di Jezebel ora di apara motlhogong. A di apara motlhogong jaaka katiba, and allow a God-fearing daughter of God in the family, all very responsible, all very innocent, according to his own calculations. Guys, this dude is going to account to God if he does not give his life to Christ at the great white throne judgment, if he gives his life to Christ at the bema seat, for why it is that he allowed a family to run rampant, and that he knew what they were involved in, even though in and of himself he doesn't do witchcraft. You know this thing, Yoguti, I am not my brother's keeper. What have I to do with this person? Or we just personally or whatever. Na sangoma ga ke tsebe le mo idutsing teng. Ga ke soka ke kena di premises tsa sangoma ke lo kopana le tshwasana. Ga ke soka. God is going to be like, I don't care that you personally have not practiced these things, because you knew your wife was practicing, and so were your daughters. You knew that your sisters were practicing. You knew that they were throwing the family into some kind of a whirlwind. They were throwing it, twisting in the wind. You watched my daughter suffer. You knew she was innocent. You knew she was pure. You knew she was good. You knew she was an excellent woman. And yet you left her, hore. Malobolo, I'm first stop, Monkong. A latlhegelwe ke degree, a latlhegelwe ke mpa, a latlhegelwe ke monna, a latlhegelwe ke bokamoso, a rabazwe, a torturwe, a move from pillar to post to antsa dula ko mantlong playing musical chairs, antsa chikiwa a le innocent, o mo tlogetso ra rabazwe a ntshiwe meriri from the roots ke basadi ko ntlong ya hao, because mosadi wa hao o jweditse hore mara karabo o lwantsha ngwana rona. And as batswadi tshwantse re lo protect our daughter. So far be it from you to stand for karabo at the expense of our daughter. Ke ha o ka tlogela situation ena o ska thusa, otherwise ngwana rona o hlazwa. My uncle a tseba hore ngwana hae gale e le lost scope from teenage years. Abantse ba mo lata weekend ka ofela ifitile a sa gutli gae ba mo kraya malunde. Ana le those kinds of tactics. Atla konna atla mpotsa direction ya boyfriend ga go dula kae re ke ha re driver ya spread view ro batla ngwana sa gutlang gae weekend ka ofela ka nako teng ke na le 16 ngwana ha ona le 16. I'm just a kid too, mara nna ba ntshotse ko gae ke shebeletse Ellie McBeal ka 9 bosigo ka Monday, because that's when Ellie McBeal used to play. I remember 9:30 ke la tuana hore rola lata ngwana o ntsa robetse molunde wa 16 or 15 o sa robalang gae o sa yang sekolong ka Monday. Tshwantse lo driver all the way re go spread view. Boyfriend ka teng ha re fitla le na so money weekend ka ofela, so grandchap na robetse kae if nasa rola le boyfriend ya khona o confused masikokota le nna ke a tsao ke tsogile on some ish askisi dude. Now my uncle made me come here to like identify your house, so since I know it, that girl namhlanje o ravase yonke family extended and immediate o sentse bophelo ba family ka ofela. That one girl ka ofela ntatwa hae ha di kene taba tsa intervene cause mme wa teng we itse mara ke ngwana rona. That girl has destroyed the whole extended family. My grandmother's legacy has been decimated by this man's daughter, and because this woman did not want her daughter in the firing line of discipline, he allowed a Jezebel wife and her daughter to destroy an entire extended family. So where before ne go yetsu ya di Christmas ko ntlunyang gono, next thing ke kondo fire, next thing ke ko tlameni, next thing ha go sana camaraderie in the family because of the indiscretions of mosadi wa gagwe le ngwana gagwe wa ngwanyana, the oldest one. My uncle has allowed the whole family to get destroyed by 2 Jezebels, one of which is the fruit of his loins and another one is his wife. Understand that ahapu kimang when a man allows himself, despite being given authority by God, to be run by a wicked woman, an entire family can fall splat to the ground. No discipline. Next part.